Has Dewald Brevis shown enough to be promoted to the Proteas side? That was a question sent in by one of you guys on Instagram, and it's one of the topics that we will be speaking about on today's show. Of course, you know this is the fan Q&A. This is an opportunity for you guys to ask us questions. Send in your questions in the live chat. We're first going to answer the questions from Instagram first and foremost, and then after that we will go into some questions from the live chat, of course, and answer your questions too. But if you are new to this channel and this is your first time over here, please subscribe. Please click that notification bell for all future videos. There are some of you guys that are watching our videos but are not subscribed to the channel, so please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Also, subscribe to Cricket Fanatics Magazine monthly. Every single issue is 100% free, straight into your inbox every single month. So you can go ahead and go to the link in the description for that. You can go and click on that and download the latest issue as well as get access to all the back issues 100% free. I'm going to ask you guys to please get involved with the super chats, please. If you want us to make sure that we answer your question, then ask a super chat and we'll definitely answer your question. I can't guarantee that we'll get to every single question in the live chat, but we'll try to get to as many of them as possible. So, yeah, without further ado, guys, let's get straight into today's content. I'm looking forward to hearing what you guys have to ask us. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Cricket Fanatics Magazine. This is your fan Q&A daily show. I'm your host, Khalid. Still waiting for our teacher to sign on. He's running a little bit late, but it's okay. We'll get this episode obviously started with you guys asking us questions as well. So let's get straight into it. I'm going to have a look at what's happening on Instagram to see what you guys have asked us, and then we'll get straight into the conversation. I'm going to leave the main question for towards the end of while we're rounding up the Instagram questions, and then we can go into the main question, which is the main question of the show that's in the headline, of course. But let's have a look what you guys had to say on Instagram. Cool. So the first one that we will start with: why is Bavuma and Pekrakwayo not in the IPL auction? Is it because they are not seen as T20 players? It's an interesting one. I would like to actually know what the reason is. We are trying hard to get Temba Bavuma as well on the show as well, so that we can maybe get some insight from his part and see what the reason is for why he didn't put his name in the auction. But it's interesting to see what the reasons are. The question is about Antile and Bavuma, Aditya, why they haven't been put into the IPL auction, and why they not considered as T20 players. Now, I don't think that they are not necessarily considered as T20 players. I just think that it's difficult for an overseas top order batter to get an opportunity in IPL. But it is strange that Pavuma, captain of South Africa, has not put himself, or I don't know if he did put himself into the auction, but he's not on that list that we obviously shared with everybody. What do you think your reasons are for them not being in the auction?
I'm just rechecking if Andelo was in there because I thought he was in that list that we sent out.
Yeah.
So I feel like
Double check
Andela
that.
might.
I think he was.
Yeah, I'm just checking for a second. But it is. I mean, it is a bit strange that Temba is not in there because I think the leadership potential is obviously evident, and he should be in there. Yeah, Andile is there.
Yeah.
He did register for the
So
auction.
just to confirm, that for this question was from Justin FX Genius, and
Yeah.
we just want to update him and say that delay is in the auction, but it's strange that Temba isn't. It is a bit strange that that he's not in the auction, especially if it's going to be in South Africa as well. Having the captain of the T20 team not in not in South Africa, if it's going to be in South Africa, then that's going to be crazy.
But I don't think that's happening anymore, though. It seems like all the league stages are going to take place in Mumbai. So we have access to about three, four stadiums, and
Okay.
the playoffs are likely to be in Ahmedabad. But then we'll have to see. COVID is a
Yeah.
strange condition.
Yeah. I hope that South Africa do get it, because it would be an excellent party from our point of view. Okay, let's move on to the next question we've got over here. How did Katime already get a team for CSA T20 League but not Van Heerden or Boast? Is it because of quota? It's not because of quota. I know every single time we don't see a white player get selected, and every single time we want to blame it on quota, but it's not necessarily the case. Now, George van Heerden could play for either Border or Eastern Province, I think. Those are the two regions that he could possibly register for. And if you look at the Warriors team, particularly the position that he bats, they've got a young guy called Tian van Vuren. I mean, and they've got Tian van Vuren. Sorry, I got the name wrong. They've got Tristan Stubbs in that position, kind of where the likes of George van Heerden will probably find himself batting, you know? So there are a lot of talented players in the Warriors team that they're looking at. And maybe Van Heerden didn't make the cut, but we'll have a chat to Van Heerden and ask him how he feels about it and why he hasn't been selected, because he must have been given a reason, or I hope he's been given a reason. Based on CSA's recent track record, a lot of reasons haven't really been given to players when they're not selected. But Vian Libber's also in this team as well, but we've got Matthew Breetsky. There's a lot of young players in that team. When it comes to Valentine, I saw that he's in the Boland team, which is quite a surprise to me, because seeing that he's from Potchefstroom, so northwest, I think it is he's from, and he's opted to play for Boland. According to the log, he's in the Boland team. Now that must have been agreed a while back already. That's the thing. So these contracts have been handed out before the World Cup. Like I know that Dewald Brevis was handed a contract by Northerns long before the World Cup already. So a lot of these players would have been contracted already for this. So Post as well, if you look at him, KZN's team is the ridiculous. Like with regards to fast bowlers, they've got a lot. They've got the Pavlon. They've got the likes of Ruan de Swart in that team. They've got Jason Smith. They've got quite a bit of fast bowlers that are in that team currently. Ethan Bosch as well. So where Post will fit in that team right now, it is going to be strange to see. And I don't know if he's maybe contracted to Inland, perhaps. We don't know. So we have to have a look and see it and do some more research on that. But I don't think Katime's selection is because of quota. Yes, obviously being a Black African batter does help you get selected, because there aren't many in the country that we're producing of high quality. So when there's a young Black African batter available, most teams are going to try to snatch him up, because it's very important for teams to actually have that in their team. Do you want to add anything to that, Aditya? Can we move on to the next question?
Nothing. We can move on to the next question.
Cool. When sorry, what are your thoughts about making a triangular series between SA versus SAA versus SA merging? I would love that. I would absolutely love that. So um yeah,
It's
so
SA versus SAA versus SA emerging. Is that what you said?
yes, yes.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
So that would be fantastic from my perspective. I would actually SA merging. I would probably mix up with the S under 19 team and make it a little bit of a mix. But there are enough players to make an emerging side, of course. Um, but it's crazy. It's unbelievable that we get to see that. Um, I would love to be able to see a tournament like that. Maybe have it at a neutral ground that can vary in conditions, etc. Maybe not like a flat track or something like that, like Bloemfontein or Potch. have something that's a little bit like mixed. Like I think PE is actually a nice place for them to have the T20s, for example. I think it's a nice. It varies in conditions. It varies in the weather. You can get different types of conditions, but dependable on when you're playing. So I think that's a good idea to do it like that. But I would love to see a competition like that. Imagine, because that's a good way for the selectors. Then the selectors won't have an excuse of saying they haven't gotten a chance to see players, because a tri series like that will be able to give them some time to have a look at who is available and plan for the next season. I mean, I would do that off season when South Africa's domestic season closes. I would do a tournament like that in the off season to for scouts to and for guys like Victor Mpensang and Pat Maroney and them to have a look at everybody that's available in this country. I think that would be a good option from my perspective. I don't know how you feel, Aditya. I've always wanted to see something like this.
Definitely, it's an interesting proposition. There can also be a fourth team, and uh, this might be this might be possible if there were better relations between CSA and the former players, I suppose. But some of the active players who are still on the circuit, like Faf du Plessis, um, Imran Tahir, and forming a team with some of you know retired players, but who are still active uh, on the T20 circuit. That might be interesting as well. Because Imran Tahir is still taking wickets. He's 42 years old. He's still a handful, and he's still very much in demand on the international circuit. Mone Mokel is bowling 138 kilometers per hour 4 years after retirement. I think it would be gold dust to have a team with some of these individuals to participate in this short little tournament as well.
Yeah. So I'm very excited about this T20 challenge, of course. I'm very excited about the players that are on display. I think that's going to be excellent. So it's going to be very exciting to see what happens in this tournament. I would love to see all of these guys get an opportunity, particularly Brevis. I want to see what he's got is capable of. But let's move on. Who bats at 3 for SA now in New Zealand test? We've answered this. This is from Niharika. She's a journal that we know from India. We've always wanted to get her on the channel and have a chat, but before this series, I never tried for this series, but before for previous series and things that were happening, I tried. We did try, but we couldn't get our schedules to merge. But I would love her to come on in the future on a show with us and have a conversation. But we did answer this on the show yesterday or the day before. I can't remember which day, but we did have a whole show on this alone. Um, there were some people that believe that Hamza should play, others say Sarel, and others say Ryan Rickleton. So we had a whole debate and came to a conclusion at the end. So you can go watch that episode. I don't want to give
And
any
Dean
spoilers
Elgar said
away.
that both players are fighting
Oh,
for it.
in and fighting for it, yes. So we'll move on from that one. You guys can go watch our episode on that. Let's go to um, what conditions will favor. This is from Damon. What conditions will favor SA in New Zealand? Good bowling conditions or better batting conditions on a flat pitch? It's difficult for me to know this because South Africa haven't really played at Christchurch in ages. But from what I've heard, Christchurch is a good bowling wicket. It does aid swing and does aid the bowlers a little bit. So it's not necessarily always going to be a place where spinners will thrive. But we'll have to wait and see because obviously South Africa haven't played there in years. And so many people talk about Keshav and being in the side. I mean, I would like to see us go with a seam attack if the pitch is conducive for seam. I would like to see an all seam attack. But based on what Boucher's told us in the past, he seems to favor having one spinner just in the team as just in case. So they are willing to take that risk. Um, where I do feel that I would like to see an all seam attack and maybe an extra batter maybe in a team. But what's your thoughts on that? What sort of conditions do you think that we'll get there, Aditya?
Look, I think last year when was it Bangladesh that was playing in New Zealand? That they no, I think Pakistan was playing in New Zealand, where the wicket had so much grass it felt like it felt like a couple of cows could graze on there for like 15 days, and Kane Williamson ended up scoring a double. So I think wickets are very unpredictable there. But beyond that, there are other externalities that need to be taken into consideration, such as the wind factor. On from one end, there are these powerful winds that can really disturb your rhythm of batting or bowling, and then on the other end, there's no wind whatsoever. You're fighting it. So I think that's an important consideration. Like there are times when Sachin Tendulkar back in the day, I think he scored 160 or something in Hamilton in 2009, and he often talked about how the wind would like it would gush into his face and he could barely see the ball. So I think those are challenges that are unique to New Zealand. But yeah, I think they're going to be tough conditions either way. It's going to be a bowler's paradise. And if I remember correctly, in 2017, Keshav did quite well in New Zealand. So I'm pretty sure that Boucher will play Keshav, and Imran Tahir did well in the white ball leg of that series. So yeah, I don't think South Africa will go with an all pace attack.
Mhm. Okay, so thank you for the super sticker, Tashrif. You've also asked a question, so I'm going to ask you a question straight away before we get to the main question. Why do we play Keshav always? Is there any transformation rule need to include Indian origin? Last series, three match versus simply played him. I hope we will not play him against New Zealand. I'm not a Keshav hater though. So it's got nothing to do with. So I know every single time there's a person selected that we don't want to be selected, then it's easy to just blame it on the quota, but it's nothing to do with the quota. It's got to do with Mark Boucher always wanting a spin option in his team. He's said this on multiple occasions. We've asked him on many occasions whether they're going to drop Keshav to have the extra seamer in the team, and he's always come back with the same answer. He's always come back and said he likes to have a spinner in the team. He likes to have a spinner in the team. He likes to have the option. So I don't think it's got to do with transformation. I think they just Boucher likes to have that variation in his team and have the option of having a spinner in the side. Um, that could potentially do something if the conditions change. Because if the conditions do change and you're stuck with seamers, it's very difficult to then pivot if you don't have a spinner in the side.
And Keshav was man of the match in the second test in New Zealand,
Yeah. Yeah.
and South Africa won that series. So he was pivotal to that effort.
Mhm. Okay, let's go on to the next question. It's got to do with Dewald Brevis. Has Dewald, the actual question was, this is from Damien 23 Allen. He says, oh no, that's wrong. Oops, I lie. This is from, where did the question disappear to now? I just had it now. It's gone. Here we go. It's from Vaiti Prasad. He says, hasn't Dewald Brevis shown us he um, belongs to the class of Quinton de Kock and KG and should be drafted in SA international setup early. So depends what format we're talking about. So we never ever before spoke about formats when it comes to Dewald. When it comes to the T20 and ODI format, luckily we now have the CSA T20 challenge to look at Dewald again against senior players, against men in different conditions, against South African conditions. And we're gonna see what his character is made of against these people older than him. And if he does have a good tournament, I think South Africa has no choice but to fast track him into the team. I think they need to put him as soon as possible into the setup so that he can learn from them, particularly in white ball cricket. When it comes to red ball cricket, he himself told us on our interview on our exclusive on this channel, he's never played 4-day cricket before. He has no idea what it's going to offer him. I think he needs to play 4-day cricket first domestically before we even think about test selection with regards to Dewald. He needs to play some franchise cricket and 4-day cricket. All of these players mentioned, Quinton, KG, even AB de Villiers, they all played domestically before they got selected for South Africa. It wasn't just straight out of the 19 team and walk into the test setup. So we need to remember that. But with regards to white ball cricket, there's a little bit more flexibility. I think that South Africa could give him a couple of chances, particularly when we've been trialing and testing with the ODI side quite a bit. It would be a smart move, especially if he performs in the CSA T20 challenge. He's looking amazing. He's obviously way better than every single other boy in his age group. It's now an opportunity for him to show what he has and what he's capable of against men. Guys that are older than him and more experienced. What's your thoughts on this, Aditya?
I definitely, absolutely agree with you there. And look, every player grows at his own pace. So I know that Dewald Brevis has all this media hype about him now, and he's done incredibly well um, at the under 19 level. But when you take that step up, it takes a lot out of you,
Hmm.
and you discover certain things about yourself that you might not have known at the under 19 level. Like I can tell you about Virat Kohli, for example. He played red ball cricket for 2 years before he played the under 19 World Cup. So,
There we
so
go.
that tells you, so that tells you, and he still wasn't ready because he made his test debut about 5 years later. So
And he is once in a generation talent when it comes to Virat
exactly,
Kohli. And
yeah,
so is Dewald. I hope that they don't mess this up though with Dewald. I hope they look after him and give him the opportunity that he deserves when the time is right. This T20 challenge is so important, I feel, for his career, as well as the one day challenge that's going to happen afterwards. I think those two tournaments are going to determine because there are some spaces up for grabs when it comes to the ODI selection and when it comes to the T20 team. Dewald could fit that middle order. He could actually slip in and fall in line like a easily when it comes to our white ball arena. With red ball cricket, though, we know that our school children aren't prepared. We know that we've done tons and tons of articles and magazine issues on it. I think Dewald needs to play some Titans games first in 4 day cricket before he can get his test score up because it's going to be tough to step up when it comes to 4 day cricket. Maybe it's not. Maybe he completely dominates in 4 day cricket and he gets selected immediately. But let's see, because it's not only about scoring runs. Like Reiner van Tondern will know. I mean, he topped the standings. His first season, he was excellent. Second season, even better. But he was scoring all his runs in Bloemfontein, and he was struggling to score around the grounds, other grounds. And he's now starting to try and find ways to score on other grounds. He had a difficult season this year. He's been struggling this season. Hopefully, he'll come back again because that boy is very talented too. He was also an exceptional captain for under 19 and an exceptional talent. I've watched him bat. He's quite phenomenal. So when it comes to Dewald, I think when the time is right, we should quickly put a like put a pin in him and just say, look here, this is someone that we're going to look out for a very long time. Um, they need to keep eyes on him. They need to track him. They need to make sure that they communicate with him, give him the right advice because he is a generational talent. He seems like he is. To me, he looks like someone that has the potential. You know, you never know how a person's career can turn. People can have all the ability in the world, and then not even get an opportunity to play. I mean, there was a story about Cristiano Ronaldo back in the day when he was playing for Sporting. There was another player that was playing for Sporting at the time, and they were looking at this boy who was younger than Ronaldo as the next, as even better than Ronaldo potential wise. Even Ronaldo himself said he thought that this player would be better than him, and that player ended up not becoming anywhere near to what Ronaldo was. He started, he mixed with the wrong crowd. He ended up um, not developing as fast as they thought he would. And he ended up just losing his position. He's now, I think, back at Sporting again, doing, or at one of the clubs there in Portugal, doing coaching so that he can prevent the same things that happened to him to happen to other people. So we need to make sure that we look after talents like this. And I'm pretty sure that Victor Impensang will have a conversation with Dewald in PE. He was planning on speaking to a lot of talent in PE, according to the last conversation that I had with him. Let's hope that he does that in Kabeja.
Look, all the interviews that we've conducted so far with players, we've asked like Aiden Markram, Matthew Braidsky, virtually all of them. We've asked them if they've become better players because of their exposure to red ball cricket. And it's been an unequivocal yes. They have been better because of the amount of time that they spent playing red ball cricket. So, talented as Dewald is, he should go through the grind um, in red ball cricket. He'll come out better for it.
Yeah. White ball cricket, I mean, there's not much to change in his game. I think uh, he must just, I just want to see him get tested properly, by people that are going to put him properly under pressure. And if I look at the squads for the T20 Cup, let me just read out some of the squads for you. So we've got the T20 Challenge squads available right now. With the GBets Warriors, we've got Cindy Temple Klashile, Matthew Bretsky, Diego Rosier, Vian Libbe, Desiban Gope, John Smuts, Tristan Stubbs, Mti Nabe, Tsepo Ndwandwa, Tian van Vuren, Stephen Tate, Carl Jacobs, Dane Patterson, Lizo Makosi, Rudy Second, Akona Manyaka, and Alindile. I don't know how to pronounce his name. Mletiwa. I think that's how you pronounce it. Sorry, correct me if I'm wrong. Chibets Rocks, Peter Malan, Yanaman Malan, Zebo Tsiki. Very, very, very talented player that. I'm a big fan of his. Clyde Fortain, Christian Jonker, Farisco Adams, Michael Copeland, Valentine Katimi, Hardesville Yun, Sean Van Berg, Ziad Abrams, Siabonga Maima, Aishel Kluti, Chlomo Anabe, Sakele Kwabe, and Imran Manak. Then we've got the Dolphins, Bryce Parsons, Grant Rulofson, Andile Pechlekwayo, Kayo Zondo, David Miller, Jason Smith, Ethan Bosch, Prinner and Subrayan, Tando Ntini, Darren de Pavlon, Otniel Bartman, Kerwin Manguru, Rwanda Swat, Marcus Ackerman, Odariel Modimakwane, and Keegan Peterson. We've got at the Lions, Joshua Richards, Kagiso Rapulana, Mitchell van Buren, Shane Dadswell, Ruan Haasbroek, Dominic Hendricks, Tsepo Ntuli, Malusi Sipoto, Tladi Bokaka, Tladi Bokaku, Aya Mjoli, Cody Yusuf, Sasanda Magala, Juan Landsberg, Bjorn Fortuyn, Riza Hendricks. Then at the Knights, we've got Fahan Beerdin, Patrick Botha, Mbulelo Budaza, Gerald Kutsia, Klein Hans, Patrick Kruger, Wandile Makwetu, Gred Mohlakwana. I think that's the ambidextrous bowler. Mangolisa Mosechla, Alfred Motau, Michal Pretorius, Jason Robenheimer. Yo, that's a proper surname that. Jacques Snyman, Piet van Bouillon, Neelan van Heerden, and Reinhard van Tonder. Then at the Titans, we've got Tienis the Brain back in action, Quinton de Kock as well, which is a big, big addition to this team. Diane Khalim, Heinrich Klaassen, Sibonela Macanya, Donovan Ferreira, who's also in the IPL auction, Ayan Amani, got Dewald Brevis, Aaron Pangiso, Lizard Williams, the Bray Shamji, Junior Dala, Grant Mokwena, Coben Bosch, and Gian Kluti. Then at Northwest, you've got Nicky van den Berg, Lesejo Senokwane, Wesley Marshall, Dwayne Pretorius, Senoran Mutasami, Heino Kun, Delano Potgieter, Nono Pongolo, Duan Jansen, Johannes De Seco, Chad Klassen, Luandiswa Zuma, Aldred Hawken, Tahir Isaacs, Caleb Saleka, and Ndomiso Valasi. Okay, then we've got at the Western Province Blitz, Jonathan Bird, Junaid Dawood, Tony De Zorzi, Bjorn Hendricks, Gavin Kaplan, George Linder, Richard Levy, Aviva Majima, Tsepo Moreki, Michlali Pongwana, Wayne Parnell, Kyle Simmons, Daniel Smith, Yasin Vadi, Dane Vias, and Bashir Walters. Now, George Linder's inclusion in this particular tournament makes me question why he's not in the test side and what the conversations were before this test because we were under the impression that he wasn't allowed to go to New Zealand because of his wedding and because of his getting married, but he's in the T20 squad to go to PE, and they've already left, so they playing on the 7th of February. So he's part of that squad. Why couldn't he be part of the Proteas squad? Begs to begs that puts that question into perspective, doesn't it, Aditya?
Yeah, it is, and I think his wedding happened a couple of days ago. No?
Yeah. It was during the 4-day game between the Lions and
Yeah,
or the day before, I think.
it's yeah, it's been a few days. So yeah, I don't know what the reasoning behind that might be. Probably something to do with COVID and bubble regulations.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think all the players had to go into a bubble a few days before they boarded the flight for New Zealand. So my guess is it had something to do with COVID regulations.
Cool. Any questions from you guys in the comment section? I can't go all the way to the top, guys, so I'm gonna just take from ones that we've seen at the bottom. Re-ask your questions if we haven't got to them. Will RCB go all out for Brevis at the AB for the AB connection? I mean, I think they should because I think it's smart for RCB to get involved with him. But I think every single, especially I think the newer franchises are going to be going in hard for him. Even if they don't get him, they're going to make sure that RCB or whoever else is going to pay a lot for him if they want him. We could see some history, record-breaking stuff over here when it comes to Dewald Brevis is signing a teacher.
Look, his base price is 20 lakhs, given that he's still uncapped. Uh, but and obviously, scouts will have watched Dewald. Uh, I personally feel like historically, Chennai and Mumbai have been the best environments for players to grow in. Unfortunately, that can't be said about RCB. But in saying that, I'm sure the franchises will be looking at they will, and it's an opportunity for them to groom a player from a young age, so that eventually, in time, he starts, he starts performing for them. So
Yeah.
yeah, let's see how it goes. But I have no doubt that AB's connection with RCB will help Brevis. Um,
Guys, smash the like button, please. I want to see 30 likes on this video. Will Quinton de Kock play the tournament? According to the squads, he's in the squad of the Titans, so looks like he is going to play. Hopefully he does, because I think a lot of these players will be able to learn from him. Okay, we must also be careful about the Brevis situation. Remember the hype around Umakt Chand, massive hype, and failed domestically in IPL. Now he plays his cricket in the States. Do you want to comment on that? Because, like I explained earlier on, I said that we need to be wary of these things. Um, we underestimate the power of this modern day's world and the pressure that it puts on people and players and sportsmen, etc., especially the social media age. Now, yes, the younger guys and younger generations are more used to it than the older generations were, but we need to make sure that we look after our talent and that they get the best possible protection that they can possibly get. Do you want to shed some light on this topic over here, Aditya? You'll know a little bit more about
Look, I think Unmuk Chand was an under 19 winning captain. He scored 100 in the final when he led India to um, when he was captain of the under 19 team, and he was almost considered to be like a definite player for India. It seemed like it felt like his fate was sealed, but there was no way that he could have gotten a look in, because by the time Unmuk would have gotten an opportunity, Virat Kohli was already a superstar, and the middle order of the Indian team was set. Rohit Sharma was starting to bloom as well. There was Suresh Raina and the Yuvraj Singh, and there was no way Unmuk Chand was going to get in. So sure, there was a lot of hype around Unmuk Chand, and the fact that he didn't get an opportunity to play for India is less about his talent and more about more about the dynamic of the team at the time. When look, I think India has how many over 100,000 professional cricketers. There's no way that every talented cricketer is going to make it to that level. It doesn't happen. Like, I'll tell you, there's a player called Amol Muzumdar. Now he's part of the coaching staff at Mumbai, the Mumbai domestic team. He played 171 first-class games. He scored 30 hundreds and 60 fifties. Unfortunately, his career coincided with Rahul Dravid, Sachin Tendulkar, Saurav Ganguly, VVS Lakshman at their peaks. With those four in there was no way that anyone else was going to get a look in. And Amol Mazumdar was a casualty of that. And it's the same with Unmukt Chand. So I don't think I don't think Unmukt Chand didn't play because he didn't have the talent or because of all the hype around him. It's just that he was never going to get the opportunity, given how strong the Indian team was at the time.
Mhm. It's all about timing as well, you know. I think
Yeah.
imagine if Dewald Brevis was coming through while AB de Villiers was still in the team and for South Africa. You know, the chances of us talking about him getting fast tracked into a team might have not have been as much as it is now. The cry out for that type of player in our team currently, where there are positions available. You know, it's very difficult to drop players that are already test proven and already internationally proven for a person that has never played international cricket before. It's a massive risk. But when you identify talent, you need to hone that talent and you need to give him the best possibility to be able to to show his talent to the rest of the world. And I hope
But
that they
even
do the same thing with other players too, you know, that also have been earmarked as future stars.
but you look at the South African team from 2011 to 2018 with Quinton de Kock, Hashim Amla, Faf du Plessis, JP Duminy, and AB de Villiers. There's no way you can break into that top five. It just doesn't happen. The
Yeah.
numbers are just too good. So it doesn't matter how talented someone on the outside is. How are you going to manage? How are you going to match AB de Villiers' numbers? Or how are you going to create
Mm,
that impact? It's the same with Faf du Plessis. Like Faf du Plessis scored more runs than AB de Villiers. If
mm,
you look at the average and the volume of runs that he scored between
mm.
um, between 16 and 19. So
Yeah. I mean,
it's
and look
hard.
at South Africa's current ODI top top four, top five. I mean, you've got Yanaman Malan averaging 70, 60, 70. You've got Quinton de Kock averaging 40. You've got um, Bavuma averaging close to 70. You've got even a guy like Rassi van der Dussen averaging 70. I mean, you've got some proper ODI players in that top 4 or 5, and I know maybe we're not giving them the credit they deserve, but we should be. We should be ranting and raving about these players that are doing so well in ODI cricket. So it's going to be difficult for him to even crack it in there. If Aiden Markram starts scoring runs as well, it's going to be a very tricky place to come in and to make an opportunity or find yourself a spot in that team. But I mean, Brevis is unbelievable, and we know that we can't stop talking about how amazing talent he is. But I'm very excited to see what he can do in the CSA T20 challenge. It's going to say a lot about his character. It's going to say a lot about him as a player. So I'm very excited to see that. Even Miller, sorry, yeah, even Miller averages 40. So at and Quinton averages 46. So like look at that lineup. It's ridiculous. No one averaging below 40 in the top six, other than Aiden Markram.
It's the same with the current lineup, right? You look at any of the Test ODI T20 lineups. How many spots are really available in the top six,
Mm,
unless someone is injured or unfortunately like Keegan Peterson contracted COVID. But other than that, how many opportunities are really there for people?
yeah,
It's only if people are rested or there's some
yeah,
sort of workload management going on, but otherwise there's no
yeah.
opportunity for anyone.
And I think that's what they should do. Then we've been looking for a player that can bowl a couple of overs and bat in the top order. So Brevis can really be pushing Aiden Markin for that ODI spot. That can definitely be happening. very, very soon. And I hope that we get to see the best of him in this tournament, and we'll see what happens with regards to South Africa moving forward. But guys, thanks a lot for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Don't forget to smash the like button, please. Comment, share, subscribe, click the notification bell for all future videos, as well as subscribe to Cricket Fanatics Magazine monthly. Every issue is 100% free, straight to your inbox every single month. For these Q&A sessions, please remember you can ask us questions in the live chat, but also you can ask us on Instagram. We normally answer the Instagram questions first, but when we start bringing on memberships, etc., guys, when we start doing the membership thing on YouTube, which has been asked for us to do, where you guys can join, we'll be doing members only Q&As, so you guys can have an opportunity to ask questions if you're a member, and we'll answer them directly. So that will happen down the line. So take your chances to ask us as many questions as possible in the next couple of shows until we set up our tiers and make sure that we got everything sorted for our membership site, for with regards to YouTube. But guys, thanks a lot for tuning in. We won't be doing anything tomorrow. Obviously on a Saturday, but Sunday evening we will be doing something. We'll be doing our Sunday podcast. So please stay tuned to this channel for everything. Thanks a lot for watching, guys, and we'll see you guys very, very, very soon. Take care and enjoy the rest of your weekend. Cheers.